Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of On the Beat with KDJ. I am your host Kevin Devaney Jr. and the time has come. The Section 1 boys basketball playoffs have arrived. Bracketology, thankfully, is over. We can put it to bed until next season, next January, rolling it back out on MSUvarsity.com. I want to thank everyone for going online and checking it out. Over 60,000 page views over the past month since we started doing this. Thank you to everyone who's been following it and very excited for the playoffs to finally start. We're here at Clarkstown South, one of the schools that's going to be hosting, well, at least one playoff game, the number 2 seed in Class AA, and most likely 2 to get to the County Center to play for a Section 1 championship as the march to the gold ball continues. Here at Clarkstown South today, they're scrimmaging the top team in Class A, that being Eastchester. We're going to get in the gym. We're going to talk about both teams, both Class A and AA, and break down Class B as well as we get ready for the playoffs. So let's get inside and check out the action.
A lot of energy, a lot of activity. Here we go. Go, guys. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Count on 3. 1, 2, 3, go.
It was fun watching the scrimmage, the first 2 quarters, a little one-sided, favoring Clarkstown South, facing an Eastchester team, playing without Benny DeMerco, Michael Milo, and Andrew Schultz, 3 of their starters. So you didn't get to see how good Eastchester was, but you got to see how good Clarkstown South really was. And Joe Zaire, his quickness, and the way that him and Connor McGinnis and Kevin Martinez share the ball, it really is so fun to watch. Later in the show, we're going to catch up with Connor McGinnis, one of the 3 some on that team, and what makes them so good. You're going to find out. When I watch them, I'm just amazed at how much better they've gotten every single time. And I think the way they ended the season with that back-to-back, beating Spring Valley at Spring Valley to win a shared the league championship on Friday night, and then the next night going over to Beacon, taking on Beacon at Beacon and winning that game, that comeback effort for them. I mean, you saw a Clarkstown South team that just became, well, from being a contending team to a championship caliber team. I really do feel the Vikings are that good. They could be a gold ball team. The team that everyone's going to pick to win the gold ball, including myself, is Mount Vernon. They're on the other side of the bracket, the number 1 seed in Class AA. And Mount Vernon's had a little bit of a roller coaster. You know, they're 16-1. They have their one loss being a White Station, number 1 top 10 ranked team in the country out of Nashville, Tennessee. So that's a good resume, but they haven't been dominant as people thought they'd be. They only beat White Plains by 5 points in the 2 games. They had a narrow win over New Rochelle at New Rochelle. I think Mount Vernon could definitely be beat. The one exception is, though, Brandon Martin has been off the charts good recently. 32 points in the win over Wheels, 28 points in the season finale against Brooklyn Collegiate. He has just been he's turned a different gear into this final stretch here in the regular season. He's been so good, and he's made Devontae Banner better. We're seeing Judah Alexander step his game up. Just the depth, athleticism of Mount Vernon, I think, is going to be very difficult for anybody, including Clarkstown South, to contend with. Taking a look at the top side of the bracket, and Mount Vernon sits at number 1. They will host the winner of North Rockland and Yorktown. Fox Lane fell to the 4th spot on the final day of the regular season, and Mahopac will host Sufford in the 12-5 game. But the most interesting potential matchup on the bracket has the rematch of last year's epic Class AA final. New Rochelle goes on the road to Mamaroneck in the opening rounds, and if the Huguenots pull off the win, they'll face the Knights of Mount Vernon. Coach Rashawn Young has preached all season how this is a different team at New Rochelle than in the past.
Last year was last year. We got about 3 guys from last year's team on this team, so they experienced, the other guys didn't. So they got to make their own history here. So they got to come out here and, prove themselves.
It's going to be tough for New Rochelle to repeat as Section 1 AA champions. The team that knows New Rochelle very well from last year and this year is Clarkstown South, and joined now by Connor McGinnis, Clarkstown South junior point guard. And looking back to last year and seeing what New Rochelle did, do you look back and say, we were a part of what they did that was pretty special?
Yeah, we were part of it in a pretty bad way, but we'll take it. They had an unbelievable year last year with Joe Clark and Khalil Adney with the shot, and it's pretty amazing that we were part of it in the first round last year.
And you guys learned a lot, I'm sure, because I talked to Coach and some of the guys said about how much of a better team you are after losing that last game. Yeah. How different is it now going to the playoffs compared to last year?
Oh, so much different. We have everyone returning except Tyler Major and Tom Gerlich, 2 seniors last year, and we're much more experienced. We have 6 seniors, and the rest are juniors, and we're very experienced, and we should be next year. But after coming off a really tough loss from them last year. Coming into the playoffs this year, give us a little more edge.
Well, you want to see them until later in the tournament if you guys both advance that far. And you guys are going to be number 2 seed because of what you did late in the season, beating Spring Valley, and then the next day beating Beacon. Tell me about that back-to-back Friday, Saturday game that the games you went through.
It was very tough. We the Friday night game, we were just focused on Spring Valley. We prepared for Spring Valley. They're unbelievable. They're really talented. Probably the most talented team in the section, and we were able to beat them, and then come back and play 24 hours later, and we had to play Beacon with the unbelievable guard, sophomore guard. And it was very tough. Honestly, we weren't expecting it. We came out 17-4. We came out very tired and lackadaisical, and then we had to pick it up and fight back. But it was tough. It was really tough.
You guys now going to the playoffs, 17-1 record, and I don't think a lot of people are going to pick you guys to win the championship. Do you feel like you have a good shot at it?
Absolutely. Yeah, we thought from last year, coming back, losing a newer shot last year by 30 in the first round. Me and Joe text right after the game saying, "It's us next year. We got it next year," and that's been our mentality all year.
Clarkstown South will have its work cut out for them in the bottom half of the Class AA bracket if they want to get back to the Final Four at the County Center like they did in 2012. Arlington will host Ossining in the 7-10 game. The Avermills have been hot since starting the season slow and will be a tough out, according to Coach Matt Hoyt.
I like these guys. We've come a long way. Starting out 1-3, we learned a lot about this team, and we had 20 days off from our tournament down in Lakeland to the holiday tournament, and we grew as a team, and I'm real proud of our guys.
And in the bottom half, the potential for a White Plains Spring Valley quarterfinal game with the right to go to the county center. Preseason expectations for both clubs were very high, and it might have really hurt White Plains when they moved up on the final day of the regular season. The Tigers won the silver ball in the slam dunk tournament back in December at the county center and will look to add to their collection.
We're just really motivated. We just want to go for that gold ball. Last year it was a right season, but like all the seniors want to go out this year and just try to get this gold ball. This is our last year of high school basketball, so we're trying to get this gold ball.
This show isn't the only Class AA breakdown here on MSGVarsity.com. If you'd like the written version, check out my team-by-team breakdown for Class AA and find out who's got a shot to upend Mount Vernon. And now we move on to Class A, and I want to say something that's never been the case, and at least in the last 50 years, the people I speak to, the team to beat in Class A is Eastchester. The Eagles looking for their first ever gold ball. Last year they made it to the county center for the first time in 30 years, losing to eventual champion Poughkeepsie in the semis, and now here they are standing. Not only are they the favorites to win, it would almost be disappointing if Eastchester did not win the Section 1 championship, 16-2, the #1 seed. The Eagles have everything. I mean, they have the depth. They have the depth of scoring. They have Jack Daly, their point guard, Benny DeMerco, their three-point shooter, Michael Milo, their inside-outside player. Nick Campana could spread defenses with how he can knock down three-pointers. Andrew Schultz, the big man in the middle, the guy who broke the rim at Eastchester High School, broke the backboard with a dunk. This Eastchester team is so well put together, playing so well, and that win over Woodlands in the season finale is all the confidence they need to win a Section 1 championship. But it's not going to be easy. A monstrous 27-team bracket. The team that gets to the top of that mountain, they're going to have to earn it, whether it's Eastchester or no matter who it is. We look at the brackets in Class A, and as we said, Eastchester, the #1 seed. The Eagles get one of only 6 byes into the opening round, but that doesn't mean that their bracket to the county center is a cakewalk. 8th-seeded Byram Hills always contends in the playoffs, and don't forget about Peekskill. All season long, I've been saying that Peekskill was going to ruin somebody's season, and the Red Devils have just too much talent and also the extra motivation of legendary coach Lou Panzanero announcing his retirement after the season. Confidence isn't lacking for the Red Devils.
We think we can take it all, man. God made us. I guess we lost those games, for a reason. So we got to come back and win this for everybody. Coach P, I love Coach P. He did everything for me, man. It's just I got to win this gold ball for him, or it's nothing.
So you see our Class A brackets, and Eastchester the #1 seed. I'm joined now by one of Eastchester's star players, senior Michael Milo. And Mike, #1 seed. I'm sure it doesn't matter anything now. You guys are 0-0 and worrying about that gold ball winning a championship.
Yeah, we're not looking over any opponents right now. We're going to take it game by game. But the goal's been the same as always, winning the gold ball, getting back to the county center back-to-back years. But right now we're looking at the winner of Gorton and Rye and see if we can do that first game, and we're going to take it from there.
You guys close the season. It seemed like you guys were going to lose your final game of the regular season. You come back and that crazy comeback win in overtime over Woodlands. How much of a springboard is that for you guys going into the playoffs?
That was a great win going into the season. it was one of the first games besides Tucko that we were down a lot going into the fourth quarter. We were actually down like, what, 10 or 15 points? 15 points in the fourth quarter, it was a great morale booster and a good game to go off of going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think a loss would have been the worst thing for you guys, but that win was 10 times better. And so you guys had to be riding high. How do you feel physically with the shoulder? You obviously missed the first month because of the shoulder. How do you feel right now? Shooting the ball, getting around. Do you feel like you're back in basketball mode?
Yeah, I feel like I had to rest the first month, but I've been working out a lot of physical therapy, back in the gym, so it feels good. It feels back to normal.
This is an interesting position. I've been around Eastchester basketball for a long time. There's never been a year where Eastchester was one of the teams to beat, let alone the team to beat. How do you guys not worry about the target that's on your guys' back?
It's different. It's a different feeling playing with a target on your back, being the #1 seed, but it doesn't take anything away from the effort. It's you pretty much go into the game like you would at any seed, going in playing 100%, going for all loose balls, playing with max effort, just like we've been doing for the last 2 seasons.
And assuming Benny comes back, he had the ankle injury in the Woodlands game. He's full strength. Is there a team that can beat you guys in the playoffs in Section 1?
I mean, right now we're taking it game by game, but as far as we're concerned, we're confident going into any game. We don't overlook any opponent, but at the same time, there's no game we go into thinking we're going to lose. We have the mindset we could win at any given game.
Who could face one of those teams in the semifinals at the County Center? 4th-seeded Harrison, perhaps. The Huskies were the top seed just a week ago before 3 straight losses, including one to Horace Greeley, dropped them in the standings. Matt Stein and Kobe Lefkowitz are good enough players to get hot again and spark a run. And how about the potential for a Somers-Saunders opening round game? Somers has improved all season long under Coach Chris DeCintio. It could be an issue for Saunders. In the bottom half of the bracket, 2nd-seeded Panis is having a dream season, much like they did during football, and I don't think anyone saw the Panthers being this good and being this high in the seeding.
We always keep high expectations. We're trying to win it. Going into the season, we had high expectations. Everybody slept on us, but we're here now.
And in the same bracket is Pearl River with arguably the best player in Section 1. Fairfield-bound Kevin Degnan presents matchup problems for every team, and the pieces around him have filled in nicely as the season has gone on.
I know we're a top team. We had a couple bad losses, but I think now after this game we can really make a good push for the playoffs and hopefully County Center.
And finally, in this monster of a bracket, number 3 Lords is the high seed here. The defending Class B champion moved up to Class A and has fared very well against their new schedule. If they advance, they could face either Dutchess rival Poughkeepsie or a dangerous Tappan Zee team in the quarterfinals. The Dutchmen and the Pioneers have history in this tournament. So if Eastchester is a team to beat, who is the team that's their top contender? And I think if you polled 10 people, you might get 10 different answers, at least 9 different answers. The 2 teams that I really like are both here in Rockland County, Pearl River and Tappan Zee, and for 2 very different reasons. First, Tappan Zee, they have the depth, they have the balance. You have the Luke McLaughlin, their wing player, a very difficult matchup for Eastchester because of the way he's able to shoot over defenders with his 6'4" size. I also think Ryan McWilliams, the way he's rebounded, his toughness. Tommy Morales is also back for Tappan Zee, and the good guard play that they get. Kyle Peterson, the way he's come on, 5 3-pointers in that win over Pearl River in TZ's second to last game, really showed how far TZ has come as a team overall. Pearl River, they could beat Eastchester, I think, because of that star player. I don't think Eastchester has seen one guy, maybe not even since the Kingston game, as good as Kevin Degnan of Pearl River. To me, he's the last player I want to see in a postseason and trying to end his stellar career before he goes off to the University of Fairfield. He has been so good of late. He's gotten better as the years gone on. His 6'7" size is not a matchup that Eastchester doesn't have. Nobody has a matchup for Kevin Degnan. Team has beaten Pearl River. It's going to be tough to do it in the postseason. So much more can be found on MSUVarsity.com, including Mike Quick and Jimmy Cavallo talking about Hudson Valley hoops on Quick Hits. And we didn't forget about the girls' side of things either. Jordan Griffith already has his playoff edition on Jordan on Hoops, up and running online, and it's a doozy. We move on now to Class B, and if you're going to ask me what game I'm looking forward to most at the County Center in 2 weeks, I'm going to tell you the Class B championship game. Look back last year, forget the shot. The best game at the County Center last year was Lords beating Dobbs Ferry in overtime in the Class B championship game. I think we could have a similar matchup if this year's brackets break the right way, and I think Woodlands and Putt Valley are those 2 teams this year. They've clearly separated themselves from the pack in Class B in Section 1. They actually haven't played any other Class B teams, only each other. Woodlands won the first time around. I watched Woodlands play Eastchester, play Fox Lane on Saturday night, and then lose to Eastchester on Sunday afternoon. I think Woodlands totally ran out of gas in that loss to Eastchester, or else they would have swept one of the top 4 teams in AA and the top team in Class A. Woodlands playing at such a high level right now. I don't think people understand how good Brandon Johnson and Jamil Gambari are as we head into the postseason. And of course, Putnam Valley, they played great basketball all year long. They were the team with a target on their back early on. Jelani Bill Isaac leading a veteran group, Zach Coleman, and you see how much they've grown over the course of the year. They've really rebounded from that loss to Woodlands early in the season. The collision course these teams are on, it could be very fun if they match up. But will they match up? Here are the brackets for Class B. You see Putnam Valley as the number 4 seed, a tough matchup for Pleasantville to start in the opening rounds. Pleasantville has found itself late in the season playing well and could present matchup problems for Putnam Valley. After severe losses to graduation, a great regular season for Croton Harmon at a number 5 seed, and Irvington taking the top spot and a lone bye in Class B. The Bulldogs won their first league title since 1991. I still think a run to the finals could be tough for the Bulldogs, but a trip to the county center alone would make this a great season for Irvington.
I'd like to not think that there's pressure, but I think there is. I think we know it deep inside, but I think we need to step it up going into the playoffs. But I mean, we're just going to keep playing like we've been playing.
In the bottom half of the bracket, second-seeded Blind Brook, a smart, well-coached team, and Palisade Prep. No one talks about Palisade Prep. They moved up after winning the Class C title last year. Do they feel like they aren't earning enough respect?
What people say is it's kind of our motivation. So if they say we can't make it, that's last year. They didn't expect us to win. They had Tuckahoe winning. So that's just our motivation. We're going to use it to keep going.
Makes us work hard. Y'all had us dark horse last year, and we came out and beat all the teams by 20 points or more in the county center. Hopefully we could contend in the playoffs this year in Class B.
And don't forget about Rhinebeck, a potential Cinderella team in the bottom half. Several football players on this squad, all around Matt Franks, their star senior.
I mean, this year we definitely have high expectations, since considering we've all, like the starting 5, few of it, like all of us have been playing together since we were like 6 years old. So we definitely have high expectations, want to get to the section championship, and just take it on from there.
So that's going to do it for our show. Be sure to log on to msgvarsity.com and check out our breakdown of Class C. 3 of the teams are already at the county center for the semifinals. We have 1 quarterfinal matchup to decide the final 4 in Class C. We'll have that and so much more online. Be sure to go online and check out our previews of all classes, breaking it down, myself on the boys' side, and of course Jordan Griffith on the girls' side. We have so much more interviews, video highlights, everything you need as we enter the brackets. Go shovel some snow, get ready for basketball. We're eventually going to play here in Section 1 basketball. I want to thank our producer, Chris Karen, and our guests coming on today's show, and we'll see you at the County Center.